Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys? Have any of you been moving around in Ireland? We've got a 5 kilometer, distancing now. Have you moved? Are you in another place now? Where are you all living now? Let me know. Let's know what's going on, guys. How are you all? Are you well? Are your hands washed? Are you looking forward to working out and finding out some wonderful new ideas about self-taping? This is what we're talking about. Some of the biggest stuff that I hear from actors is that they get frightened of the technology of the whole thing. That they kind of they worry about it, they're not sure about it, they kind of never quite clear which camera to use, when to go. Is that you? What are yours? What's going on here? Sian is here. She just made it. Dog went to the vet. Every day it's a different animal with Sian. It's extraordinary. Chickens, birds, horses, goats, everything. You must live in an animal sanctuary. Anyway, I'm sure they're very grateful for your support, Sian. Good morning, Amber. How you doing? Very good down there in West Cork. Beautiful. Oh, Sian went to Sligo with special travel permission. Excellent. Andrea. The same in Wales. Everyone's over in Wales. Absolutely. Andrea, I've got your questions. I'm going to answer those questions for you later. Hey, Brian over there in Kerry. And Sian is back now in Offaly. How wonderful. Good morning, guys. So, we're going to do a Q&A at the end of this. I'm going to give you three kind of things I think you'll find useful today about how to, handle the tech side of it. There are four principles to self-taping. Hey, good morning, Kieran. How are you doing? Beautiful day, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. So there are four main principles to self-taping, which you've got to master in order to be successful in self-taping. The first one is what we talked about the other day, which is really, understanding what the producers want, making sure you're in alignment with their values, with what it is that they want to do. Helena, good morning. How lovely to see you. How are you doing? Honey is, yes, okay, back in the city, and wine sales are open again. Aha! Oh, that hasn't quite happened here in Ireland. We've got everybody. I went out yesterday with some friends. We had a barbecue, And it was kind of wonderful to see people again and actually talk to human beings. It was quite extraordinary. And near where I live in Dorking now, you all know Matt Damon's gone home now. So, of course, we're all, distraught about that. I'll tell you a story about Matt Damon at the end of this as well, by the way. Kimberly is where, lovely in Worthing. How fabulous. How fantastic. Oh, I love Worthing. I played the theatre there. Gorgeous place. That was Harold Pinter's big theatre, one of the places where he did an awful lot of his work starting out. He used to live there for a while. Anyway, so the four principles really of self-taping are, as I say, the producer's point of view, which we covered the other day. Production, we're talking about a little bit today, and I'll do Q&A on this at the end. The actual, literally the lights, the camera, the tech, that side of it, microphones, all of that backgrounds, that's the kind of stuff. Because you've got to know this stuff. You really got to understand it. And if you don't understand it, you can make mistakes. So I want to avoid that for you guys. The third one, of course, is the mindset. This is my big one. Your mindset, the way that you think about yourself when you're self-taping is just as important as the performance. And they're different things, so that the psychology of it, the way that you approach the self-tape, how you handle it, how you get into it, how you make those things happen. And then, excuse me, the performance side of it all, which is the obvious one, the performing itself. But we're going to dive into those next week. So today I want to start really with technology. This is the main thing we're talking about today. And a lot of people get frightened of technology. Are you scared of technology? Let me know. What are the bits that frighten you? What is it that you don't like about the whole tech process? Is it the camera? Is it the choice of camera? Is it the lights? Is it three-point lighting? Is it the microphones? Is it the, Rode or Cavalier or Sennheiser? What are the confusions? What are the problems that you have? And we'll see if we can do something to help you out with that. So I want to first of all talk about the first thing we're going to talk about is cameras. So obviously, all you need, the basic minimum requirement for any good self-tape is a camera, something to shoot you, your lines, something to shoot you, some kind of lighting, and you've got to be able to be heard. And that's pretty much the basis of it. So at its base, it is an extremely simple process. And what gets in the way are all the things that everyone else is worried about. Now, I think my very first self-tape I ever did was performed on this. This is my Ultra HD, the flip camera. Anyone remember those? These were the most wonderful little cameras. They were superb high definition quality, and they were kind of cool and looked really good and everything. And you kind of press a little button at the side like this and it pops out. You can see like that. You see the side of it there on that side? That goes straight into USB and you charge it that way. The crystal clear photographs, and then they stopped doing it. I don't know why. I think it's a gorgeous little camera and it's wonderful stuff. So that was my first one. And then I use this big baby sometimes. This is my DSLR. So I use one of these. Do any of you guys use DSLRs? This is the other one I use. And I also use my iPhone because, of course, sometimes I don't have my camera with me, but I've always got my iPhone. So, and it works the same for Androids, obviously. So that's the first thing is the best camera is the one that you have with you, okay? Get yourself together. Charlotte's talking about an app. Oh, that's an idea. We'll talk about apps. I haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that one in a minute. I don't know that one. So the first thing I want to suggest, most of you probably use iPhones. Is that true? Or Androids? Is it your phone? Let me know. Is that what you actually do? Is it the phone itself? Because I have a way that you can turn your phone into a $5,000 camera. Ooh. Never got the hang of a DSLR, absolutely, I understand. I mean, they are quite tricky. There is a learning curve. Some of this, the higher tech you get, the higher tech quality you get, the further you're going to have to kind of learn to invest in it, because you've got to learn it. You've got to understand it. There's no doubt about it. So do you mainly use iPhones? Is that what you guys use? Just let me know. Pop down in the comments what it is that you do. Then I'll be able to help to make suggestions around that. Yeah? Brian uses the iPhone. Yeah, good man. Absolutely. So Brian uses the iPhone. Sean uses the iPhone. Anyone else use the iPhone? Yeah. Honey uses the phone. Absolutely. Right. Sean, is it just an auto cue there, Nick? It is. It is. Absolutely. Yes, it is. That's a teleprompter. It's got, yes, absolutely. I've got a teleprompter on here, and you can put my camera here, and it works as a teleprompter. It's cool. Yeah, iPhone, Android phone, exactly the same thing. Phone, says Eyeline, exactly. So the first thing I want to suggest for you is for those of you who use the iPhone, there's a wonderful app you can get called Filmic Pro. And if you get Filmic Pro, I think it's about $4 or $5. It's really cheap, but it is very, very good. Yeah, you're thinking about a camera, not sure which one to get. Yeah, Amber, the best thing, if you use the phone at the moment, the best way of getting the best quality out of what you have at the moment is to use Filmic Pro, which is a little app that you can get on your phone. Again, it's about, as I say, $5. Very good. It'll turn your iPhone into a DSLR. It's extraordinary. There is a caveat. It does take time to learn. Just as you have to learn how to use the a DSLR, you do need to understand how you use Filmic Pro because you're using the same skills. So there is a learning curve, and I want you to understand that. But it's certainly worth considering. There is one for Androids as well, and the name escapes me. But if you drop me a line, I'll pop you that afterwards, Andrea, if you want to talk about that. So Filmic Pro is yeah, Kieran uses that absolutely. Android or Canon 13. Yeah, lovely, great. Canon's fantastic. Camera's great. Um, uh, that'd be interesting to find out about that, Kieran, how you actually do that, when you're on your own, because sometimes using a DSLR is quite tricky. I'd be interested to find out your process. So that covers really cameras. So the main thing I want to talk about is eye lines. With iPhones, the biggest problem is the eyeline. And I came upon this in a very peculiar way. I was doing a show called Da Vinci's Demons, which we were shooting in Swansea in Wales, not far from you. Was it Kimberley? Was it? No? Who was it in Wales? Oh, it was Andrea's in Wales. In Swansea. And it was this huge studio. And one day I got a tape that I was supposed to do for a show called The Last Kingdom or something like that. And it was me talking to 8 other people. And I couldn't find any of the actors. The actors were all on set. There was absolutely nothing I could do. Didn't know what to do. So what I did, I got my iPhone, thought I'm going to be resourceful. I got 6 little bits of blue tack, and I popped it around the corner to make on the wall in front of me like that. The camera was looking at me like that. All these little eye lines up there. Each one of these bits of blue tack was the eye line, and for each of the characters. So I would say, "Hello, John. Nice to meet you. Hello, Billy. Nice to see you. Hello, George. Nice to see you." Right? You get the idea. So these separate eye lines. When I looked back at it, what happened was on the iPhone, it made me look like this. This is what it actually looked like on the iPhone. That give you any idea? Right? Not a great idea. If you have to do a scene with several people and you've got your iPhone in front of you, use 2 locations only, left of camera and right of camera. That's all you need, because that's all that it does. There's a technological reason for it. It's something to do with the depth of field, with the way that the camera actually works. So keep your eyeline simple, one way and the other. That's it. That will solve all of that kind of like nervous, kind of like, the way your eyes get wonky. So if you ever have to do that, do that. The other thing, I'm sure you're familiar with from filming anyway, is that if you want your reader to be working with you, you want to place the reader next to the camera. Get your reader as close. If you pull the person, if they're far away, if I try and demonstrate, if I'm looking at the camera like that, and I have someone a long way away on my left, then my eye line goes like this, right? Can you see what happens? But if I'm looking at the camera here and I bring my friend close, then I'm always going to be keeping myself looking there, right? It's much more powerful. There's also a great Michael Caine technique, which is fantastic for cameras, which is wherever you are, put your face facing the camera, right? Wherever, and if you're doing self-tapes, wherever there, make sure if you're looking this way, if you put your head that way and you're playing a scene that way, make sure that your face is as round to the camera as you possibly can be, so that you're taking people in that way. The more they can see of your face, the better. That's the idea. It works predominantly with 35mm, but it can still work for iPhones. The other choice of camera that's a good one as an intermediate one, if you don't want to go up to DSLR, is what's called the Logitech C920. the Logitech C920. And if any of you need to know these ones again, I've got a free list about all this stuff, and you can just drop me a line and I will let you know what it is and where I get them. Compact camera with a flip up screen, brilliant. So you can actually look at it simple, and you can look at yourself while you're filming it. Great solution. You know, this is really useful. Which make is that, Connor? I'd like to know. The other thing about eyelines, yeah. The other thing is, if you're doing self-taping, we discovered this. This is absolutely fantastic. This little kind of remote control, $7, really worth it. You know that thing when you put the camera up and you're ready to go and you have to run round and you press it and you run all the way back? Don't have to do that anymore. You can just set yourself up, focus on your scene, what you're doing, press this, out of view, camera starts taking pictures. How cool is that? $7.99, thanks to Clive Dancy, great thing. Really worth doing. And there's a list, I've got a link for that. If you need to know, drop it to me. Those of you who came on the 3-week training that I did, the free 3-week training, it's all in there and the links are in there. So the next thing, tripods. That's the other thing. You want to keep your camera still. Really important to keep the camera still. This is my favorite little baby. This is called a Gorilla. I take this with me everywhere I go. I have big ones as well. It's the Sony RX100. Great, nice one. So this is the Gorilla. I'm sure you've all got one of these, and if not, I would definitely recommend it. If you go on to, this is made by Roly. It has a detachable top. You must make sure when you buy this, the Gorilla itself is often, you know, it comes just like that without the adapter. You will need the adapter to put the iPhone in. These things are great. If you've never seen them, you can take this anywhere. I have, you know, high quality, heavy duty tripods as well if I'm doing, you know, live stuff, or if I'm doing, a self-tape. But this is perfect for touring. It's perfect for going on location. Tiny little thing, you pop it in your bag, take that with you. Fabulous. Great benefit to these, and I've done this many times, is the legs are bendy. So you can wrap this thing around, you know, I've done it in, you know, in hotel rooms, you wrap it around the edge of the bed, you can get a great angle, put it on a door frame and it'll shoot you. It's terrific. You must get one of these though. This is essential. And this little thing here is just a little clip, which you can see, and you pop the camera in there and then that holds it in place. Screw that on there. Excellent. If you haven't got one of those, the other thing that you can use, which is really simple, is a pile of books. And you know, we've all done that. You know, have you done that? Have you put your iPhone on a pile of books? I'm sure you have. Sometimes they slip. Sometimes, you know, it keeps slipping. Great solution to that is very simple. You just get an elastic band. Put a rubber band around it. Rubber band around the camera. Bing. Solid as a rock. And there's another thing I've got, and I can't remember where it is, which is these wonderful stickers. They're really super. They're kind of little triangles or circles that are sort of rubber, and you can slap them onto a wall and then slap your phone on it, and it gives you a fantastically still camera. That's a really good thing, and I'll put the link up for that sometimes. It's in the download. If you want the download, pop on. Yeah, Sean's still doing books. Exactly. Pile of books saved me many times. Exactly. Yes, we've all done it. But hopefully you'll find that putting a little rubber band around it will make it much more firm, much more secure. The other thing is I have used the iPhone to do some self-tapes, and I've done it in selfie mode, literally holding it like that. I'll give you an example. There was one when I was in America when we were doing Hamlet. There was a show came in that was being shot in Ireland, which I think is gone now, but called Redback Spider or something like that. Anyone else go up for that? So Redback, there was a show, and it was about a lawyer. I was going to play a lawyer, kind of like jostled by this guy, and the guy comes into the room and it's all very, oh, what are you doing, and grab hold of me. And I thought, I wonder what would happen if I did this. And I held the selfie, and because most of the dialogue was on me, I played it as if it was a kind of agitated camera, and it showed a bit more of that. Now, they always say you're not supposed to do all that, but I thought, why not? And I got a call back, so it kind of worked. So break the rules, don't break the rules. Sometimes you've got to break the rules. That's all I can tell you. Lighting. The other one, how do you like your movies and your self-tapes? What do you do? Let me know, how do you do it yourself? What's the way that you light what you do? Now, a lot of you might be using three-point lighting. Some of you may not be familiar with three-point lighting. Three-point lighting is literally you have two lamps at you, one on either side. One is called the key, one's called the fill, then you have another one behind you, and that gives you this wonderful kind of glow, and you can look just rather gorgeous. Well, I say so myself. I mean, it's that kind of thing. That's the way that you can professionally shoot it and look the highest quality. But also, sometimes you don't have that. You don't have those lights, and sometimes you can't afford them. They're about 100 quid, I think, for a set. You can get soft boxes, and there are LED versions now. I've got soft boxes, but I'm going to upgrade to LEDs at some point. They're just soft boxes they're quite bulky. That's the problem I find with them. And, you have to store them somewhere. Otherwise, they take up the room too much, So that's a kind of, a ring light. Yes, ring lights are very good too. Ring lights can work. They can look a bit make-uppy. That's the only thing I find. But absolutely, Honey uses, what's that there? Yeah, the afternoon sun, then I have a dedicated corner. Yes, using a desk light. Yes, absolutely. We all have these solutions. Remember your editing as well. If you over brighten something, or if it looks too bright, if you pop it into an editor, I use ScreenFlow. You put it into this an editor like ScreenFlow. You can just dim down the lights. You can add a bit of color, take color away. You can do all sorts of things in the editing. So it's and you can zoom in and out and all sorts of things. Brightly lit room, if it needs to be with a lamp, absolutely. Place the mirror, light behind the books. Kimberly got 2 box lights on stands from Amazon, quite cheap. Yeah, they are. I think yes, they are bulky. I agree, Connor. Absolutely. Yeah, soft boxes are huge. That is the problem. I think the LEDs are going to be the way to go because they're getting brighter. I think you can get 2 now for about 99 quid, so it's not bad. They're coming down. I don't know which particular ones to do, but particular ones to recommend. But they're certainly getting that way, and they also have these little remote controls now. You can excuse me, you can dim them where you're standing, so you can be looking at whatever you can have a monitor or a flip screen or something looking at what's happening, and you can dim the lights accordingly. It's a really cool idea, which you can't do with soft boxes. So that's definitely the way we're going to be going. Other thing to say, if you're on location and you have let's say you've got your gorilla and you've got your camera on there, you've learnt your lines, you're doing everything, and you've got no lights with you, and let's say you've got horrible fluorescent light, in the room, and we've all stayed there, we've all been in that room. Don't lie, you have. Okay, so you go into that room and it's ghastly. You want to make sure you have the light, the window light, the natural light coming at you from one side. Doesn't matter which side, but one side. So you've got light coming at you from one side. And a really cool thing that works so well, let me just get one, hold on a sec. You probably know, those of you who've done a lot of filming will notice that you see, the sparks or the grips going around, well, the sparks really, going around with those, circular light reflectors that are either white or silver or whatever. That's because they're bouncing the light back onto you. Well, this is something we can do. So if you're sitting next to a window and the window light is coming in, let's say from this side, it's coming in on my left-hand side, you can get a piece of paper and put it on this side. And you can probably see, actually, I don't know if you can see it from there, but I've not really got much light in here now, but can you see any, does that show anything? Yeah? Get the idea? But if you're right next to a window and you get your piece of paper and you attach that to something, put it onto a tripod or stick it on the wall or whatever the situation is, that can give you a sense of warm light, soft light around the face. Very, very attractive looking, well worth doing. Arlene says she ideally natural window light, but on dull days use LED light. Yeah, right, absolutely. It can change white, warm light to match either natural light or lamp light. Absolutely, that's a great. Do you have the little small ones? Those little LEDs, the little tiny ones, or do you have the bigger ones? Which ones do you use? And do you like them? Do you recommend them? Are they good? What's the brand? Let people know. Um, so that's really lighting. Do look at 3-point lighting. It is worth finding out about. It does make you look better. If you get yourself, if you're going for a big show, if you're going for a Blacklist, or you're going for, I don't know, some, an American show, you want to kind of get it looking good as well. It's well worth it. It just adds that extra thing. It's a subliminal thing. It isn't, is it essential? Absolutely not. But can it look better than the other thing? Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to remember, in America particularly, BBC, as well, sometimes RTE, maybe more the independent companies than RTE. I don't know, not being judgmental at all, but something like that. They tend to look at stuff on 4K screens. So, you've got to, the more you've got this good looking picture that's really working, then it's going to look great. The more higher definition, the better. Going back to the camera, just to mention that the Logitech C920 that I mentioned, the Logitech C920, which you can get on Amazon, it's about 90 quid. That one has what they call Carl Zeiss lenses in, and it's a superb lens. It's something like, I think it's 4K, I think now, something like that. It is so good. And it really gives you incredible depth of field and tremendous, crisp, clear images. So that's the Logitech C920. Brian just asked, yeah, is the green screen important? I use a green screen a lot. I have a green screen. I've got it over here. I'll show you my green screen. I don't always do that on a first date. Here it is. That's my green screen. It's in there, and you can probably see, if I open it up, it's a collapsible one, right? That's that. Again, you can get one of those. And you can pop that up behind, I have it right behind me. And you need a lot of light for it, though. I will say that. You need a lot of light. Then you can add all kinds of different backgrounds. Sometimes that's a fantastic solution. Is it essential? No, it's not. Not at all. Is it worth doing sometimes? Can be useful. Certainly worth learning about as well. What else? Microphones. Microphones is my big bugbear. This is the biggest thing, and it's the biggest thing you can make the best change for the smallest amount of money. If you don't want to spend any money on anything, get a microphone. And now, where is my microphone? Here it is, there. This is my lavalier. This is a lavalier. It's the one I use. And it's crisp sound. It makes a huge difference. And it's about 10 quid. 10, 20 quid, something like that. Tiny little mic. And you can pop one of those inside here. And if you're careful, and after a bit of time, you can find a way you can put it in there, nobody sees it. You take the cord, you drop it down inside, and you're absolutely fine. They make such a difference. Big tip about those, if you get your hand and you make it into an L shape, and you put your thumb on the middle of your head, sorry, big pardon, on your thumb on your mouth, and then you put your little finger down here, that's exactly where it needs to go. Okay, so you make the L, thumb there. You see where my little finger is? That's where you want it to go, exactly down there. That's all you got to do. Real simple, works every time. That's the perfect place. Don't put it over here. Don't put it over here. Put it bang in the middle on the sternum, right underneath there, and it will pick you up perfectly. They're about 20 quid. It makes a huge difference. Check it out. Microphones. If someone said to me, what are you going to buy first? Get a microphone. Get a microphone. And get the best microphone you can afford. Do you need to get a lavalier with a long cable? I think that depends on your setup. If you have to be honest, if you were going to get a microphone, the Rode ones that plug straight into your camera are probably the best. Again, they're about 90 quid, I think, something like that. It's a significant expense. They all add up. So, you have to make your own budgetary choices on what's going down. Yeah, the Rode mic can be plugged into the phone. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it can. and it's great. It's small, and Rode is one of the, certainly one of the best. Sennheiser as well, Rode or Sennheiser. They're really good companies. They just create good stuff. I use this baby as well. This is my Blue Yeti. This is the one you're listening to me on now, and it's really rather wonderful. And it has lots of different. Sorry, you probably might be making the sound a bit funny, but you can see on the back there are 4 different settings, and there's a gain control and all sorts of things. You can use this. Someone was asking, can you use this for songs? It was Andrea, I think. Yeah, absolutely. It's again, that's about 100 quid. Everything seems to be about 100 quid. It's expensive, but it's worth it. It's an investment. And remember, guys, everything that you invest in your career, certainly in the UK, certainly in Ireland, you can definitely put it against your tax, and that's a professional expense. It's well worth considering. Yeah, so that will be the first thing. I've also got some questions. Now, Andrea asked me a question. She sent me an email. Where have I got it? Yeah. So now this is from Andrea. She says, lighting. Spotlight recommends a soft light with a CN160 LED bulb. Okay. I love the way you go. Most of the video softboxes I found online seem to use fluorescence. They do. There is a huge difference in price. There is a difference in quality. There is a difference. Which would I recommend? As we've just been saying, I have the soft boxes, which have those lights that you're talking about. They have the fluorescence. It's a question of cash and budget, really. I think you will do better in the long run, certainly with LED. It's certainly where we're going. We're going in that direction. So yes, I would go for those. Do you have to have the specific bulb? No. No, you don't, but certainly it's worth having. Yeah. Sean has a Scarlett mic. What about that one? Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. I don't know that one. Do you like that one? Plugs into door. Okay. Honey, you were saying also in Denmark, or Germany and South Africa can be plugged in the phone. Do you mean, can you do that? I don't understand that. When you wrote that, I don't understand. Just drop me another thing, what you're saying. So second question, I'm going to get a lavalier mic, but I'm also interested in investing in a Rode or Blue Yeti eventually. Mics are good for recording songs. The Blue Yeti certainly is, absolutely. It has, as I say, these 4 different settings. And if you Google it and check them out, well, I think they're superb. Yeah, I think they're just simple. It's this simple solution. And your other question was, just invested in a double-sided background, grey one side and green the other. Excellent. Do CDs ask for blue screen quite a lot of the time? Worth investing? Not really. The blue screen idea is an American thing. In the UK, pretty much white is usual. Grey works, brown works. All they're really looking for is to see you. Sorry, Honey's just clarified. Yeah, okay. Oh, they are part. I see. So you can claim the tax for your microphone expenses in Germany and South Africa as well. I think it's the kind of thing that should be fairly universal, because it is an artistic expense. So that's good to hear. I don't know about the States. I'm not sure. But that kind of thing, definitely. So terrific. So that I recommend that. The Rode is Rode is good. Blue Yeti is good. Sennheiser is good. Sony is good. All of those. They're all good quality brands. You can't really go wrong with those. Rule of thumb: get the best you can afford. Definitely worth it. It just looks better. You'll feel more confident. All that kind of stuff. I would use LED as opposed to soft boxes, but I use soft boxes. So do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Anyone has any questions about in relation to cameras, tripods, lights? Lavalier mics are great. Eileen saying, what's that? Did take listening to child and pick voice up really clearly. Very cheap and easy to use with the phone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's an important point. When you're whispering to a child, you want to make sure, if you're on the iPhone, it can sound a little bit tinny. But if you've got the mic is picking you up here, whereas the iPhone is picking you up over here, right? There's always going to be distance. But if you've got this down here, You've got the lavalier on your sternum, on your chest. This is where the voice resonates. So you can begin to use those chest tones, and you can use different sound qualities that you can't get anywhere else. And it can be a sort of an interesting thing to put into a self-tape, the actual choice of sound, a tonal shift. It can make a big difference. So whilst it is technically you're going to be heard better, it is also something that adds to the character of what you do. And as you know, I did all this research into this stuff. And one of the sound recorders I was speaking to talked about that when a movie is not made until the sound is laid. It's just great. I think it's so clear, you know. And he was telling me about the movie Chinatown, which you may know. If you haven't seen it, do see it. It's fantastic. The Roman Polanski movie. And the movie itself was shot, totally sorted out, edited, cut together, and it had this music track on it. They showed it to people. They hated it. The one thing they changed was the music. When they changed the music, the entire film was a different film. I would say to you exactly, please make sure you get a mic because it changes your movies. Andrea says, Arlene, do you know what make your LEDs are, please? Yes. Yeah, Arlene, do you know what make your LEDs are, please? If you can share with that, that'd be great. There's one, I think it's called Envato, or I look into that. I mean, I will look into it much more as we go further forward, because you know, eventually I'm definitely going to invest in them, because these are too bulky and they kind of like take up too much time and all that stuff. So, any other questions, guys, while we're here? Anything else you want us to get into here today? What do you think of my new... Did you see this? What do you think? What do you think of that? Do you like that? I just got that made from a company called Fiverr. Those of you who may or may not know about that, if you're looking, let me pop that in there, fiverr.com, has that come in? There you go, fiverr.com. If you pop on there, those of you who are looking for hello, Katie. I want a little mic that plugs into your phone rather than having to be attached to your person. Do you know the best brand for that? Katie, you want a little mic that plugs into your phone rather than having to... Best brand, Rode. Yeah. Rode. Yep, Rode. Absolutely. So guys, just to say, yeah, Fiverr is a place where you can go. If you go onto fiverr.com, what you want to do is literally, you can get your show reels done there. You get them done for about 10 quid. How about that? Check it out. Fiverr.com. This whole intro there cost me €9.60. And here we go again. I hope that rings a bell. It just makes me laugh. I don't know why. So that's worth doing. So those of you who want to get show reels done, check out fiverr.com. You know what? You can learn a lot for a Fiverr. I really recommend this, actually. If you're thinking about, you know, getting yourself a show reel done, you want to get another tape set, you know, it can be quite expensive. You know, if you do them in London, it's like 300 quid, I know. 300 quid and up. So, you know, this way you get people who are working in all countries from all over the world, and you can spend more money as well, but you can get somebody who's got what they call a level 1 or level 2 seller, cost you about €9, €10, something like that. And you will get to see what editing looks like. you get 2 or 3 revisions on every single time that you go through something as well. So that's certainly worth looking into. And yeah, I recommend that. Any other questions, guys? Anything else before we wrap it up today? Anything you're not sure about? Anything you want me to cover again? Hoping you're all well. Are you all still well? Is everybody okay? Your hands washed? So do tell your friends, come on over. Anyone who hasn't had one of the free calls, please do take advantage of that. I would love to be able just to remind everyone I can only do 1 free call per person because a lot of people want to have more than one, and I just can't really because there's too many people looking for them. So they are, you know, they're quite gold dusty at the moment. So grab yourself one if you haven't as yet. Any other questions? No, all good. So next week, now Andrea, it's her 50th birthday. Oh Lord, you don't remotely treat myself to Blue Yeti mic. Excellent. Lovely. Happy birthday, Andrea. Happy birthday. Yay. Oh, Brian says, don't forget the Matt Damon story. Good man. Okay, right. So Matt Damon was around in Dorking, as you know, and you know where I live, and he was around the corner. A few friends of mine have seen him. I just caught a glimpse of him the other day. But this friend of mine went swimming down in a place called White Rock, which those of you who know will know is that, you know, down by the sea is a small little bathing area. And he went down. This friend of mine went there with his dog and his kids and his wife, and they sat down on the beach and they're playing with the dog. And then suddenly the dog runs off and the dog disappears across to this other guy. And it was Matt Damon was there with his wife, and the dog jumps on top of Matt Damon all over, so licking him and everything. All this. So Matt grabs the dog and he goes, "Oh my God! Hey, fella! Oh, hey, what's happening?" And he calls over to this friend of mine. He says, "So, what's the name? What a cute dog! What's the name of your dog?" And this friend of mine was so panicked he couldn't believe it. Suddenly, it's Matt Damon. He said, "Avril." It turns out Avril is his wife's name. Isn't that great? I thought that was a good story. So look at this. Andrea's sending happy birthday. Honey's sending happy birthday. Katie's sending happy birthday. Sean saying happy birthday. So everyone, happy birthday. Lots of love, guys. Absolutely. And in comes Amber as well. So do, guys, come and do the free call if you haven't. And otherwise, we'll see you on Monday. What I'm going to be doing next week is going to be carrying on with the self-taping. What we're going to be doing on Monday is going to be more about the psychology of it. Exactly how it is, how our brains trick us and how we can solve that kind of thing. And then after that, I'm going to be talking about performance, the actual performance side of it. And so have a lovely weekend. Oh, let me just share that from Eyeline. That was it, the LED camera light panel PT15B Pro Bicolor pocket size. Excellent. That's a very good recommendation. And do you find them okay? There's Eamon coming in as well. Brilliant. Look at all this. Jeez, you're so popular today, Andrea. Isn't this fantastic? No wonder you're going to buy yourself a mic. Okay, guys, have a lovely, lovely weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Do tell your friends. See you soon. Bye, guys.